Hey there, just a quick one before dinner. I've smacked the nasty plastic handle out of the slightly modified 3-pounder that I've been using. It's a good little hammer. I'll keep forging with this. So I've made a couple of fairly tidy handles, and the first handle that I made is going to go into here. Now that I've opened it up, I've got access to the taper and a quick little bit of measuring, and I'll be able to buzz this down to size and have it fitting and have another usable hammer. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing is cleaning any residue of epoxy or plastic from out of the hole. Start off with a coarse file. And then I'll get in there with a bit of emery tape. And lastly, before I fit the handle, I'll wipe that out with some good quality thinners.
If you're ever using a wire buff, please give it the greatest respect. I've got a friend who lost concentration for a moment with one of these. It tied itself up in his t-shirt, climbed up through his clothing and wire buffed his face.
Now something that I'd love you to be aware of is that these two 3-pounders have got vastly different eyes inside them. Whenever you're fitting a handle to a head, or even a head to a handle for that matter, it's going to be a very individual fit. These are very, very different. So I'm planning on having 3mm sticking out of the top when it's finished. So I need to take that into account when I measure how big the tape is going to be. There we go. Right, it's exactly 47mm, so that's great. If I make it 50mm for the length of my taper, then I will end up with my 3mm sticking out the top, so long as I get everything just perfect. And that's our starting point. So we'll measure 50mm down the shaft and place a mark. .27mm in width. We're massively over. I'm going to have to do some ferocious work on this, which I'll do with the spoke shave because it's faster than the sander. I'm going to wrap the shaft because it's pretty much as I want it. I don't want to go leaving any bruises in. I haven't got much meat left to sand off. Because it's made out of two pieces of Kwilla decking timber laminated together, I can use the join line as a nice datum to make sure that everything's symmetrical on both sides.
After lots and lots of repeated test fittings, I'm now ready to put the thin saw cut into the top for my wedge. I'll make the wedge out of a very thin sliver of the hardest hardwood I can find, and that will get nipped in after I've fitted the head, and that will splay out the top end and stop the handle losing its head at any stage. Right, now I need my little piece of jarrah that I'm going to make my wedge out of. Where did I put that? Oh, that's right, it's on the windowsill. Check it for the right width, and it just happens to be exactly right. So now I'll get the hacksaw again and carefully cut a nice little sliver. Okay, the wedge is a good fit, so now I'm going to lather the crack and the wedge and the outside of the taper in wood glue. Spread it all around, make sure there's plenty on all surfaces. Then tippy-tappy it together. Now I know that wood glue is not going to stick to the metal, but it does provide a good gap filler, and it also seals the wood a little bit and stops it drying out, which will also stop it coming loose.
And finish the rest of it tomorrow. There's an ambulance coming in the distance. Right, I'll wipe the jizz off, and tomorrow I'll grind that excess off and I'll have another lovely hammer. So there we go. Two very different approaches to handleism. Both very comfortable in their own Neolithic kind of way. I'm going to get a lot of enjoyment out of using them until I break the one on the right. But we'll see how they go. They're both made out of the same piece of wood. The next ones I make are going to be made out of an old chair leg. Now in the meantime, I've put a kit set together. If there's anybody out there who would like to do their own hammer handle, I've provided this kit set. Some assembly is required. If you'd like one, just get in touch with me through the comments below.